Welcome to Healthy Living with Vincent, Healing by Design. Today I'm going to talk about a health condition called depression. Now, depression is a mental state of the mind when you feel unhappy, sadness for a long period of time, for weeks and months. You still keep feeling unhappy. You don't have any interest in anything. Some people have mild depression and some have very severe depression. Now, with severe depression, sometimes people can feel or have suicidal tendencies when they think life is no more worth living. Now, depression, even though medical science has classified depression as an illness, clinical depression is quite real, where actually something has gone wrong with the brain and has caused the person to have a chemical imbalance which leads to these negative feelings. But for 95% of the people that I see on a daily basis, I don't think they are clinically depressed. And so today I'm just going to talk about a similar condition that can actually mimic the symptoms of depression, and I call this suppression. Now, when the body is suppressed, the body is prevented from performance, basically. So generally, a lot of people can feel sad, people can feel unhappy, they can have negative thoughts simply because their body is suppressed. And how does this happen? Most of the time, when you are not eating healthily or you're not eating to generate enough energy in your body goes through an exact energy prioritization all the time. And this energy prioritization means that when you have enough energy, your body is able to give all the various organs the energy that they need. But if for any reason you don't have enough energy, now your body would have to prioritize the energy to keep you alive. How does it do it? Now, the way it does it is this. If you are eating high sugary foods, certain stimulants, and certain foods that we call histamine foods, now these foods take energy away from you. They drain your adrenal glands of the energy that it's supposed to have, or the adrenal gland, which is the battery in your body, is drained. So your body then has smaller amount of energy than it should have when you eat some of these foods, which I will be mentioning to you or explaining some of them to you in a short while. So what then happens is that if your energy is drained, your brain, which takes most of the energy in your body, when it is deficient of energy due to the prioritization, now your brain's energy is not vital for survival. And so your body will first of all prioritize the energy by giving to your heart so that your heart can keep beating to keep you alive. It will give to your lungs so that your lungs can still be able to bring in oxygen. It will give to your kidneys and your liver to detoxify you, just to keep you alive first. Now, whatever energy is now remaining, if you still have some remaining, will then now be channeled to places like the brain, the immune system, thyroid function, and even your reproductive health. Now, these places that get energy as a secondary supply would then have to be suppressed in their activity. Now, if the brain is suppressed, all the neurotransmitters, all the hormones like serotonin, which is needed to create that feeling of happiness, joy, drive, ambition, that energy or the chemicals will be reduced in the amount that they produce. And that's why those who suffer from depression normally will get a tablet that will raise the amount of serotonin in their brain to enable them function normally. Now, this condition then mimics or brings symptoms that look like somebody who is depressed. So sometimes you have these negative thoughts. You feel like eating worms. You become tearful. You think nobody likes you. You become mean. And sometimes you even experience physical symptoms like constipation, acid reflux. You know, you begin to have aches and pains here and there. Now, these things all mimic depression, but it's not because you are depressed. It's simply because you do not have enough energy from the foods you are eating. Now, what are some of the examples of these foods? Now, I did say to you stimulants. Stimulants stimulate you to the point where it depletes you of energy. What are some of these stimulants? Some of them will be things like sugar or sugary foods or sugary products, refined grains like all the cornflakes and all the things that you eat, any form of cracker, chips, white bread, chocolates, coffee and tea, you know, flavored drinks, fruit juices, syrups, preservatives and jellies. These are a few examples of stimulants. When you eat them, they deplete you of energy. Now, we have other classes of food, like one of them, I call them excitotoxins. Now, these are foods that excites your nerves and deadens your nerves. And don't forget, your brain is the center of your nervous system. So when you're eating things like MSG, monosodium glutamate, in Chinese foods, you start to immediately feel sleepy after you finish eating them. What do you think is happening? Your nerves have been excited to the point where they deaden. And so you start to feel, you start to function a bit less in the brain because you do not have the energy to power the activities happening in the brain. Secondly, things like yeast extract, you know, calcium caseinate, hydrolyzed protein products. These are a few of products I call excitotoxins that is put in the food that we eat. And these things can deplete you of energy and make you produce symptoms that look as if you are actually depressed. The third class of food are foods that I call histamine foods. What are histamine foods? Histamine foods are foods that produce histamine in your body and causes you to, it drains your energy because histamine pulls water in your system and causes you to lose some energy in the process of doing this. And digestion of histamine foods also takes a lot of energy such that your brain does not get the optimum amount of energy it needs. Examples of histamine foods will include things like cheese. Even tomato is a histamine food, may not be good for you at some stage in your health. Spinach is a histamine food. Again, I know it's a vegetable, but then for some people at some stage in their life, they may not do well on some of these foods. Sugars are also classified as histamine foods. And so many different types of histamine foods that you may be eating that you do not know it is actually taking energy from you. I will encourage you to Google and find out quite an extensive list of foods that we classify as histamine foods that may be harming you. Sausage is a histamine food. Tuna is a histamine food. And a lot more of these foods. Just find out so that if you are suffering symptoms of depression, you can stay away from them for a while until you get your energy levels back. And so what am I saying? What I'm saying is that clinical depression is actually a proper depression that needs to be treated by a professional, a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But then with the rest of the depressions that I'm seeing around, it isn't clinical depression. It is a pure case of suppression. And all you have to do is to ensure that you are eating foods that supply or help your body to release more energy so that all the organs can be functioning at an optimal level to bring about a balance in your body. So your brain is releasing the right amounts of neurotransmitters, hormones that are needed to bring about positive feelings in your life. I hope this short video on suppression will help somebody overcome symptoms and signs of depression. I will see you in my next video. Stay tuned and stay blessed, and shalom. Bye.